In our national lead in that urgent search in Arizona for Nancy Guthrie, the missing mother of Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie. Officials in an update earlier today say there remains no prime suspect or person of interest in this case. The FBI did reveal the two deadlines listed in a ransom letter sent to media outlets. The first one coming at 5 p.m. today, presumably Arizona time. The second next Monday. CNN's Ed Lavandera just sat down with Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos, who says he believes Nancy Guthrie is still out there and alive.
People are always asking, do I believe she's alive? Absolutely. Absolutely. There's nothing to say she isn't. And so we have to live on that. And we have to, that I hope keeps us motivated because we do know the dangers of each passing day.
Let's bring in former FBI profiler Candace DeLong and CNN chief law enforcement analyst John Miller. John, so the FBI is leading the investigation into this random letter. Do you think they believe it could be legitimate based on what we've heard in the last day from them and from the Guthrie family?
People within the investigation have different opinions and levels of confidence about that letter, but because the letter contains certain information that had not leaked out at the time the email was sent about the appearance of the inside of the crime scene and some things that that only somebody who was there during the abduction might know, and it comes with a deadline and a threat, it's the kind of thing that they can't afford to not treat as 100% real until they can eliminate that possibility, thus the push to try and make that a two-way conversation.
So, Candace, put on your FBI profiler hat. What kind of person, what type of person would try to pull off this type of crime, preying on an 84-year-old woman for ransom?
First, I think it's somebody that probably has some kind of criminal history. This is not a first-time offense. But in terms of a personality type, when you think about it, somebody would have to be enormously confident in themselves and narcissistic. You have to be narcissistic to think a couple of things in modern-day crime fighting. One, that you can get away with murder, and two, that you could get away with the crime of this magnitude. With the ability these days of the FBI and other law enforcement to figure things out. Digital footprints are left all over the place in addition to real footprints, things like that. So, and I imagine this person, they're not nebbish, they're not shy and retiring, they're bold and confident, and after they're caught, people that know them will go, wow, yeah, this guy was real, he was just always out there, yeah, taking command of a room, and that's how.
So, John, we are in what some people call the post-news media era. We're in a social media era. So many people who provide information are influencers who are focused more on getting clicks and growing an audience than they are on providing accurate information. And that reared its head. Law enforcement had to comment today about a number of unverified, if not completely false claims about suspects and evidence to dispel the rumors. And I wonder, what is the real world result of influencers pushing unverified nonsense for clicks? What's the impact on the family? What's the impact on the investigation?
Well, I mean, if you listen to the sheriff today, he was kind of, you could see he was upset. He said, we have never said there was forced entry or wasn't forced entry, but people are reporting that. We have never said there's a prime suspect or any particular suspect. We have, never said that the doorbell camera was destroyed. Where do people get those things? And these are inaccurate. But the dangers of kind of the online sleuthing or the social media scoop that's not based on reliable information are manifold. I mean, remember the Boston Marathon bombing? Online sleuths identified two people and put their pictures out there as the suspects. It made its way into the newspaper, and these two people were in great danger and almost assaulted and had to be really rescued from, the mob. On the other hand, if you look at this case where they've talked about prime suspects and intimated a family member and everything else, A, the sheriff says that's not the case, and B, it inhibits people who have information from coming forward because they read that reporting on their social media feeds, they think it's real news, and they may say, oh, well, they already know who did it. I think I have this tip I should pass on, but I probably won't. That's another bad result. People need to make sure that they get vetted information from places where they know what they're talking about, and social media is not always high on that list.
I would also imagine it would be very time-consuming for the family and for law enforcement to have to chase down and tell legacy media that's not true, that's not true, that's not true, instead of actually spending that time trying to find who did this.
It's a distraction.
Yeah. Candace, in this gut-wrenching video from the Guthrie family last night, Savannah and her brother and sister, Savannah mentioned how technology can make proof of life much more difficult for victims of hostage-taking these days. Take a listen.
We live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us.
Candace, how does the FBI verify communication from kidnappers in this era of AI?
I'm not exactly sure. That wasn't my specialty, but you did hit the nail on the head regarding AI. Somebody that knew what they were doing could produce some kind of video that very much looked like Nancy Guthrie and have her talking. But the FBI does have the ability to tell the difference between fact and fiction.
Candace DeLong and John Miller, thanks to both you. Appreciate it. For anyone who might have any information about Guthrie's case, regardless of false theories making their rounds among influencers, please call the Pima County Sheriff's Department at 520-351-4900, 520-351-4900, or call the FBI tip line at 1-800-CALL-FBI, or reach the agency online at tips.fbi.gov.